At 79 years old, Barry Gibb, the last surviving member of the Bee Gees, has finally spoken openly about the man who influenced him more than most, Roy Orbison. For decades, Barry carried this admiration quietly, but now he has revealed what Orbison's artistry, friendship, and presence truly meant to him. And to understand why, we have to trace Barry's own story, the triumphs, the heartbreaks, and the resilience that kept him standing when so many around him fell. Barry Allen Crumpton. Gibb was born on September 1, 1946, in Douglas, on the Isle of Man. He was the second of 5 children born to Hugh and Barbara Gibb. From the very beginning, it was obvious that music ran in his blood. By his teenage years, Barry's natural instinct for melody and songwriting had already laid the foundation for what would become the Bee Gees. In the late 1950s, the Gibb family relocated to Redcliffe, Queensland, Australia. It was there that Barry and his younger twin brothers, Robin and Maurice, first performed locally, honing the harmonies that would later define their sound. Barry stood out not only as the group's main songwriter, but also as its vocal anchor. Even before his trademark falsetto became legendary, he had the ability to craft lyrics and melodies that carried deep emotion. By the early 1960s, the family returned to England seeking bigger opportunities, and they found them. Songs like New York Mining Disaster 1941, To Love Somebody, and Massachusetts gave the Bee Gees their first wave of international fame. Barry's songwriting, equal parts storytelling and raw feeling, connected across generations. The 1970s brought a transformation. With disco on the rise, Barry pushed the group in a daring new direction. His falsetto-driven sound exploded in hits like Stayin' Alive, Night Fever, and How Deep Is Your Love. The Bee Gees' work on the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack turned them into cultural icons. The album sold tens of millions worldwide, won Grammys, and forever tied their name to the golden age of disco. Barry's soaring voice and songwriting cemented him as one of the most recognized and respected musicians of his era. In 2001, the Bee Gees released their final studio album, Islands in the Stream. But for Barry, creativity did not stop there. In 2002, he collaborated with his friend Michael Jackson on All in Your Name, a track born out of respect and a desire to spread unity through music. Later, Barry supported his son Steve Gibb on his single Living in the Rain, proud to see his children carry the family's musical torch. Barry also released deeply personal songs like Drown on the River, Gray Ghost, and Daddy's Little Girl, showcasing storytelling, tenderness, and emotional vulnerability. In 2007, he joined the judging panel of American Idol during its 6th season. Millions of viewers were inspired by his warmth and honesty as he encouraged young performers. For many, it was their first time seeing not just the Bee Gees legend, but the human being behind the hits. Barry also proved himself beyond the Bee Gees by writing and producing for others. He penned hits for Barbra Streisand, Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers, Diana Ross, and Dionne Warwick. His versatility cut across genres, pop, R&B, and country, always carrying his distinct musical fingerprint. But life was not without heartbreak. In 2003, he lost his brother Maurice. In 2012, Robin passed away. Those losses left Barry as the last surviving Gibb brother. He spoke of them often with reverence, honoring their memory in every note he sang. In 1997, the Bee Gees were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 2018, Barry was knighted, becoming Sir Barry Gibb, in recognition of his monumental contribution to music and charity. Barry's personal life also carried chapters of change. On August 22, 1966, at just 19 years old, he married Maureen Bates. But the pressures of fame and youth weighed heavily, and after less than 4 years, the marriage ended in divorce. Then, on his 24th birthday, September 1, 1970, Barry married Linda Gray, a former Miss Edinburgh. Their union became one of the rare enduring marriages in show business. Together, they raised 5 children: Stephen, Ashley, Travis, Michael, and Alexandra. Stephen followed his father into music, Ashley and Travis chose quieter, private lives. Michael was named in honor of Michael Jackson, and Alexandra was the beloved youngest, the only daughter. Throughout it all, Linda remained Barry's anchor. He often said family was his foundation, and their marriage gave him the strength to withstand the turbulence of fame. Through all the decades of fame and reinvention, one voice always haunted Barry, Roy Orbison's. Barry remembers how, as a young man, Orbison's songs weren't just music, they were revelations. While Elvis Presley inspired millions, Orbison's hits, Crying Only the Lonely and Oh, Pretty Woman, showed Barry the raw power of pouring pure emotion into a song. Roy had one of the most extraordinary voices I have ever heard, Barry said. It was almost as if he was pulling sound from the heavens. You felt every ounce of pain, joy, and longing in that voice. Nobody could do what Roy could do. Meeting him in person only deepened Barry's admiration. Offstage, Orbison was quiet, even shy. On stage, he transformed into a giant. That always amazed me, Barry explained. Barry also admired Orbison's humility. In an industry full of egos, Orbison let his music speak. His career mirrored the Bee Gees in many ways: early dominance, struggles, then rebirth. In the late 1980s, Orbison found new life with the Traveling Wilburys, alongside Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, Jeff Lynne, and George Harrison. Seeing Roy make that comeback was incredible, Barry recalled. His voice didn't age, his artistry didn't fade. If anything, it grew stronger, but in 1988, tragedy struck. Orbison died suddenly at just 52 years old. Barry was devastated. The world lost one of its greatest treasures, he said. I felt lucky to have lived in a time when I could hear him live, meet him, and call him a friend. Even now, when Barry steps into a studio, he asks himself, would Roy approve of this? Would he think it's real? Because to Barry, Orbison never faked a single note. Roy wasn't just a singer, Barry concluded. He was an emotion. He was truth itself. He taught me that music isn't about showing off, it's about honesty. For that, I'll always be in his debt. At 79 years old, Barry Gibb's words about Roy Orbison are more than just admiration. They are a confession, a passing of wisdom from one legend to another. Barry carries both the triumphs and the sorrows of his own journey. But his reverence for Orbison shows us what truly endures: honesty, melody, and the courage to turn pain into art. Two legacies remain forever intertwined: the man in the dark glasses and the last surviving Bee Gee, each reminding us that music, at its best, is not performance, it's truth.